Hello everyone. Today we saw this picture. I just wanted to explain something. After someone messaged me privately, I wanted to reply, but they were rude, so I blocked them. Because I think you have no right to speak rudely to me in your shallow way of thinking. Someone said that from this message I posted. They wrote asking me if I was a Christian and if I didn't love Buddhism, and also used impolite language. We didn't know each other before. But if you only saw this message I sent and then you said that to me, I think it's unfair. It's unfair to yourself that you don't know me. You only got this short message and you judged me as not being Buddhist. Where did they see that? From just this message, where did they determine that I'm not Buddhist? Where did they determine that I'm Christian? Or the last sentence? That I only order people at the temple to make merit? And then, when I wrote like this, why didn't 02 believe 06 to close the case for 01 in October 2023 when they were notified, and let the statute of limitations expire on its own? This is how it harms 01. That's why 02 and 06 are ungrateful to 01. Where did I not love Buddhism? Where does it say we're Christians? Why don't you focus on the point you should be questioning? Was there a case closed for 01 in October 2023? Why don't you question that? What are you questioning? Are you questioning the fact that ordering the temple to only make donations is ungrateful to 01? So you're saying, oh, are you Christian? You don't support making donations? Or do you not understand Thai? Most people should understand that writing like this doesn't mean we disagree with making donations, but it's related to the conditions mentioned earlier. Do you see the intention? Why didn't the temple close the case for 01 within the time frame they requested? That's the real issue. Do you know how many people at the temple knew that there was a request to close the case for the abbot in 2023? How many people knew about this? And if it was true, aren't you surprised that 02 didn't close the case? Why don't you question such an important matter? You only think that 01 wanted donations, right? And what about 01? If the case was closed since October 2023, then the temple handled the case closure, equivalent to what happened to 01, allowing him to meet everyone since 2023. From then until now, if there are any civil cases, 01 can fight them because the criminal case is closed. Importantly, the closure of the criminal case. When it was closed when they notified us, the word notified means that the person who filed the lawsuit saw that there was no merit to it. That's why they said to close the case. That person, Mr. Thamanoon, I don't know who, filed the lawsuit. They saw that it was baseless, that's why they said to close the case. This means that if it was closed then, our Luang Phra Dhammachayo would be innocent and completely free and the lawsuit would be meaningless. Luang Phra Dhammachayo's status would be pure, right, and dignified because the prosecutor notified us that there was no indictment and to close the case. Why didn't you do it then? What reason did you have for not doing it? Everyone needs to ask this question. And why was 02 the one who had to handle the closure? Why don't you ask why they specifically said 02 didn't close the case for 01? If you don't know anything at all, you should listen to the whole story. It was Phra Tattacheevo who made a solemn promise to Phra Dhammachayo. He was involved in the case with Phra Dhammachayo at the time, and was stripped of his rank and position along with Phra Tattacheevo. Those who are criticizing us, do you know the full story? You should know more than this. Don't just judge based on a few sentences you don't like. You don't know anything, you should study and learn first. Criticizing others is easy, it's verbal karma. You're committing an act without knowing the truth first. Are you smart or stupid? You decide. Shouldn't you be suspicious of this? You should ask, why did 02 have to cover up the case? Couldn't someone else? Ask away, and I'll answer. Because I understand that 02 made a solemn promise to 01, or Phra Dhammachayo, that no one should interfere with Luang Phra Dhammachayo's case. Because Phra Dhammachayo trusted Phra Tattacheevo to be honest, reliable, and safe, and that he would protect him with his life. That was the promise O2 made to O1. Therefore, this trust led O1 to believe O2 when O2 said that no one would touch O1's case, that O1 would handle it personally, and that if an opportunity arose to close the case, it would be done immediately. That's why O1 trusted O2. But then, suddenly, the prosecutor informed them that they could close the case within 180 days from October 2023. That means you have 6 months. You ask, what's so difficult about closing a case? You just go and do it. It can be done in 1 day. Because they're waiting to close it. Why would they keep it? It's pointless. If it were closed that day, Luang Por Asara would have been free that day. And do you think everything would be like from October 2023 until today? It wouldn't be like it is today. Why? Because if it were like it is today, there would be no reason for O2 not to close the case. And the phrase trust O6 already speaks for itself. There's O6 involved. Who is O6 involved? O6 is Phra Thanawuttho, Phra Somchai, the monk everyone admires for being a doctor and having a gentle, polite demeanor. Oh my, excuse me, but if anyone knew what's going on behind the scenes, they probably wouldn't dare bow to him. But we're not involved, we're just reporters. We won't let our personal opinions or feelings interfere. However, we're here to explain that O6 is directly involved in this matter and is the one handling the case against Luang Por O1. Ask him, and he'll gladly answer. You'll see that he likes to preach a lot, and he says that anyone who speaks ill of him is some kind of evil spirit, but nobody can do anything to him. Don't you see his smile? It's a sneering, smug smile, full of satisfaction that people can only gossip about him but can't actually harm him. But behind the scenes, he's actually committing evil deeds, and nobody can do anything to him. Nobody can catch him, because the people who know the truth won't believe him. That's why he can laugh and smirk so disgustingly. But those who don't know, don't know. You shouldn't protect bad people, you shouldn't blindly side with them if you don't know. Now, the people bringing this up are getting the truth from real experts. But because of the methods used, the world probably doesn't understand them yet, so they don't accept them. That's why they don't want to believe it. It doesn't mean that if you don't believe it, it's not true. But will you find out when you're alive, or will you see it after you're dead? Because this is directly related to merit and sin. O2 believes O6 because O6 is the one handling the case. Meaning, O6 is the one planning the criminal lawsuit against O1. That's what you saw, the siege, something nobody ever expected would happen to Wat Phra Dhammachayo. Up until the use of Article 44 to shut down the temple for 23 days, no one had ever done anything like this to Wat Phra Dhammachayo before, especially during the time of Luang Phra Dhammachayo. Only someone with a completely dark, malevolent center, truly aligned with the forces of evil, could do something like this. And that person is O6. We don't want to accuse him. But nobody seems to care. Even if he did it, it's like people prefer not to believe it. From what we've seen, most people at the temple avoid speaking the truth. But when someone does speak, you get upset. It's like you want things to be left alone, to resolve themselves, to be over. And you say, our teacher is so skilled, no one can harm him. But you do nothing. You don't gain any merit. Here's the word, intention. Do you see the intention behind O2 not closing the case for O1 within the time frame requested? At that time, they wanted to say that Luang Phra was innocent, that the lawsuit had no basis whatsoever, and therefore, they wanted the case closed. It was over, because there was a civil case to follow. And people knowledgeable in this matter said that the criminal case must be resolved first before the civil case can proceed. What do the people at the temple know? You only know that the criminal case has resulted in the abbot being issued an arrest warrant, so he can't come out and see anyone. And you've let this drag on for 8 to 9 years. No one has asked. No one has demanded that this be resolved so the abbot can be released from the arrest warrant. Why is one arrest warrant so difficult to get out of? It's not difficult if you do it. But the person causing problems for him is 06. He's controlling people in the temple, making them believe whatever he wants. In the end, no one is doing anything for the abbot because they're misled into believing that it's better to just let the case end naturally, let the statute of limitations expire. And the abbot will be released on his own. And people believe that, but the despicable thing is that he knows exactly what he's doing. Because he's the one handling the case. Why would he rush to end it? But the problem is 02. He has no intelligence, he doesn't use it. Back then, in the atmosphere of the discussions about this in 2023, you can be sure that 02 was under a spell. He was under black magic. You don't believe it, but it exists. Information says that 02 sided with someone, unknown person, who was inciting people against Wat Phra Dhammachayo. They're using black magic and sorcery against us by the Muslims. We can't fight them. They say our Dhammachayo teachings are too pure. So they don't deal with these things. To protect ourselves, we have to learn black magic to fight them. Do you believe that 02 believes in it? And he ordered everyone to learn black magic. You don't know, do you? Go ask him. All of this comes from 02. Why don't you go ask him? And see? What happened to people who went to ask? They were dragged out, not allowed to speak. If they shouted questions, they were taken away to be handed over to the police. Excuse me, is that the right way to do it? It's not at all, but everyone is pretending not to know. People want to ask questions, but they're not allowed to. When people want to speak, to share their doubts about this or that, in a fair and proper way, they should be allowed to speak. They should be allowed to speak peacefully. The host is going to speak on January 1st of this year. A woman. She will speak with reason and logic, and she has already obtained permission. They wouldn't mind if you didn't answer and weren't there to answer questions, but they will use it as an opportunity to inform the public about what they want to ask. They have that right. But you used methods like snatching the microphones, dragging people out of the glass room without letting them speak a single word. You silenced anyone who tried to speak, and prevented anyone from taking photos or videos from publishing them. What is this? It's dictatorship. It's a cover-up. Let me be clear. And why were there so many people from the temple in the glass room that day? The rice offering ceremony to the Buddha had just finished. Everything was bright and clear, full of merit and wisdom. You saw with your own eyes that something was wrong, but you were so indifferent. It wasn't your business, it wasn't your concern. You thought, oh, maybe it was just a small troublemaker, or you were looking at it as people trying to cause division within the group. You've listened to the temple so much that you're ready to do nothing at all. Because you like listening to their advice, right? Because the temple says to keep a pure heart, don't get involved in anything, let the temple handle it. And you're happy doing that, aren't you? You don't have to get involved. But the truth is, by not getting involved, you don't have to know anything. You just stay ignorant. And what they gain from your ignorance is that when they come to ask you to make merit, you participate. They arrange the ribbons and let you walk around showing them off. Oh, you love it. This is the trap set by the wealthy people who come to make merit at Wat Phra Dhammachayo. You crave prestige, you crave praise and admiration. You can't discern whether this is true merit or something else entirely. If it were during the time of Luang Por Dhammachayo, it would be purer. You would immediately feel, hey, this isn't just praise, this is genuine merit. But in this day and age, where are people supposed to find the wisdom to think? Where are you supposed to find the light and purity of merit when Luang Phra Dhammachayo isn't in the temple? How much do I have to explain before you'll listen that the real Luang Phra Dhammachayo isn't in the temple? Khiang Tawan has been telling stories for many years about why Luang Phra Dhammachayo isn't in the temple. Why did he leave? Why don't you care about Luang Phra Dhammachayo that much? He must be sad that the words of love from his followers are just empty words, that no one is being sincere. Why do you say things but don't act on them? You express your love by saying, "Oh, I love Luang Phra, I miss him, I want to see him," but when someone tells you that he's suffering, that he needs his followers to stop doing things that are sinful, you turn around and make a fuss, saying the devil is like this and that. And you're not helping Luang Phra at all, even though you say you're doing good deeds and helping him. But if it were real merit, there would be complaints coming out through Khiang Tawan saying that you're sending him dark love. Why don't you question that? Why do you lack wisdom? The difference between black and white is stark. Why are you only accepting one side of the story without considering why? Why were people who used to frequent the temple suddenly banned from entering? Nowhere has it been stated that they did anything wrong. And when they criticize the temple for currently committing sins, instead of considering their reasons, you should look at their arguments. Because, excuse me, Khiang Tawan never says a short sentence and then leaves it for others to figure out. Even if I were to recount a dream that revealed the truth, I would provide minute details. There's no way anyone could make up a story. And interpreting dreams? Khiang Tawan can't interpret them herself. How could someone who dreams of elephants, horses, cows, and buffaloes translate it into a story about a group? That's too clever. Khiang Tawan is just a tool for communication. Therefore, what you don't know, we know, and we're telling you. But when we've told you, why don't you focus on what we've said instead of picking a fight with the person who spoke? Because you lack the intelligence to think that what we've said is more interesting than the person who spoke. Why attack? You should analyze this message. 02 believes 06. Therefore did not close the case for 01. This single sentence, if you were 02, you would have held a press conference immediately to clarify whether it's true or not. Are you going to let people accuse you of being a traitor, a betrayer, like that? But isn't it strange that a monk of level 02 would let it happen like this? Let them talk like this? That's unusual for a good monk. And why are you keeping quiet about it? Because you believe 06, right? But does 02 know that 06 is the one who fabricated the case against the abbot? He's the one who filed the lawsuit to harass the abbot so that the abbot wouldn't be able to continue as abbot. Or maybe 02 feels the same way, that he wants to be abbot. So he's just going along with it? See, we can think of 108 possibilities, right? But why don't you get the answers from 02? We're not telling you to ask 06. They're not at Wat Phra Dhammachayo. They're just not there. It's not that they haven't spoken up, they're just not there. It's not that they haven't come to see us. You just don't know. Why do we know these things? We learned them from Teacher Jude's page. And look, many things Teacher Jude says, if they weren't true. Teacher Jude isn't dead. Think about why she might be. If someone truly does good deeds, genuinely and authentically according to Luang Phra's teachings, then merit is real. Merit protects. Look at Khiang Tawan. She's been telling these stories for 7-8 to 9 years. If it wasn't true, if it wasn't good, or if it was evil, it would have been taken out already. I mean, those on Luang Phra Dhammachayo's side wouldn't let it go. But because it's the truth that he allowed people to speak about, and the opposing side wants to silence this woman so badly. They haven't been able to. Because if they did, everyone would know that she's truly evil, and everything Khiang Tawan said is true. So they're afraid of revealing themselves that way. Is it worth the risk? While if they hadn't exposed her, look at how much property she's gained from Wat Phra Dhammachayo in those 7-8 to 9 years. Ask her. You just don't know. But don't say she didn't do it. We know, not because we investigated, but because those in the know told us, and those in the know are the real 01. Otherwise, how would we know? We speak because we believe. Before we believe something, we have our own reasons and methods for deciding whether or not to believe it. Therefore, when our mind is clear and our reasoning is sound, we speak without confusion. So, wisdom is the guiding principle. And the truth is, it allows us to continue accumulating merit. It all depends on the listener and reader. Those who question me, asking if I'm a Christian or if I don't love Buddhism, I want to say, it's because you think that the merit-making project, like the 40,000 temples across Thailand, is a way to support Buddhism throughout Thailand, right? So you think, oh, if 2020 supports the 40,000 temples across Thailand project, why is it considered ungrateful? And is it wrong to just encourage people to donate to temples? It becomes as if those who encourage donations are wrong, and those who criticize must not be Buddhists, right? But you haven't thought about that. You don't know. If you knew like I do, why wouldn't you want to do it if it's truly meritorious? I'm also someone who wants merit. But it's not like merit is something you can just do immediately. Why isn't it considered merit? You need to read more to understand this in depth. It's not just about saying, it's a good deed, or, it's a bad deed, and then deciding which is right or wrong. That's nonsense. You have to look at the reasons and the facts. Maintaining 40,000 temples across Thailand is a good thing, but who initiated it? And if the temple says it was the abbot's idea, and you believe it even though you haven't seen the abbot for 8 years, how can you believe it? What are you basing your belief on? Where have you seen him? You haven't seen him at all in 8 years. How can you believe it was his initiative, or just empty sermons, spoken in his playful style, and then you say, that's the real thing, it's definitely him, and you believe it? There's more to it than that. You should also understand the reasons for gaining merit or committing sin. Where do you look for that? How many components are there? Go study it. Don't just assume that because of one sentence, you're not a Buddhist, that you don't support the religion, or that you're not a Buddhist. What kind of people are you? I am a genuine person. I truly understand Buddhism, and I truly understand merit and sin. If it's truly meritorious, why wouldn't I do it? You should ask. And where is the lack of merit? If you don't know, ask. Don't act like you know everything and then say, wow, people who don't see merit must not be Buddhists. There's more to it than that. Don't think so superficially. And to all the temple people, what have you gained from this message? If it's true that there was a call to close the case for the abbot since October 2023, it means he should have been released gracefully since 2023. There would be no case. But why didn't O2 close it? Go ask. And then they let it expire on its own. Now we're showing you what happens when it expires on its own. What's the news like? Is anyone praising Luang Phra Dhammachayo? It's been utterly slammed, portrayed in a negative and damaging way. Whose intentions are these? Is it the 2020 case? Didn't you anticipate this outcome when the statute of limitations expires? And all you people at the temple, what's filled your mouths with that prevents you from speaking up? You won't defend Luang Phra, you won't say anything, you won't affirm his innocence. And excuse me, the communications department even said, oh, it's just normal news. And now people are talking about it, and it's already on the media. So they're saying, we're still busy with merit making. So we're not free. You're not interested in Luang Phra's case at all? You see merit making as more important than Luang Phra's case? Let me tell you what they said. Regarding the termination of Luang Phra's case, many mainstream media outlets have reported it. Because the plaintiffs received and disseminated the documents, the media reported the events as normal. Because we don't yet know what the outcome will be, and the government hasn't taken any stance, plus there are many stakeholders involved, and we have continuous merit-making activities. We felt it best to remain reserved and continue our activities as usual, without any clarification whatsoever. Isn't this your proudest response? Is this what you anticipated? Did you just want to see what people outside would say if the case was dropped due to the statute of limitations? You just wanted to know what other people would think. You didn't consider what Luang Phra Dhammachayo would think. Shouldn't you have thought ahead? What if the false accusations against you were automatically dropped due to the statute of limitations? Didn't you realize what people would think? People will think that you did something that's already expired, so you won't be sued. But that doesn't mean you're innocent. It's not that the temple doesn't understand this, but they don't. And why don't they? You said you loved Luang Phra, right? Oh, because you're using his name to make money. Making money is more important, so you don't care what happens to Luang Phra. Because you're still using his name, right? You're still using his name to deceive Luang Phra's followers, right? Go ask them. Go ask about their feelings and thoughts. For them, as long as they can use his name to bring in money and keep the temple's followers from making donations, that's enough. This is what ingratitude means. Don't give him freedom. Don't let him come out and be able to give orders, because if you let the statute of limitations expire, he won't be innocent. People will accuse and curse him all over town, and it will be an excuse that we can't let the abbot come out yet because he's not innocent. Will it be like that? It will be an excuse for them to continue. But the temple people will have to continue making donations. Simply put, whatever happens to the abbot's status, just don't let it affect the issue of bringing money into the temple. Don't you feel it? Don't the abbot's followers feel that it's too obvious? It's too obvious. There's no shame, no conscience, no morality. For them, they don't know who Abbot Dhammachayo is. They just know he can use this name to make money. Don't you know that's really the case? And the reason why the 02 committee didn't close the case and let the 01 committee come out is because if you were released, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing now. They haven't been able to do what they're doing now since October 2023. They haven't been able to do what they're doing now since the 06 committee joined in early 2023. Go look at the projects in 2023. There's one project every 3 months, all to raise money for the temple. Who are you raising money for? You say, oh, our temple is big. So big projects require a lot of money. Yes, that's true, but if you knew what we know, would you criticize us? Are the people who criticize us Christians? Why don't you love Buddhism? If you look at the 40,000 temples across Thailand, the almsgiving that the temples organize is a way to support Buddhism and show love for Buddhism. But if you knew what we know, that only 30% of what they organize actually supports Buddhism, and the other 70% goes to Islam, then you'd probably argue that it's not true, that it's slander. What group are you on? If you say it's slander, does that mean you're a Muslim? You say, I'm not a Muslim, how can you accuse me? Or are you slandering something when you're a Buddhist and you only get 30%? Are you more bothered about the 70% that goes to others, or are you more bothered that you only get 30%? But for such a huge project, using the abbot's people, the abbot's money, the abbot's disciples, 100% of the work, and only 30% goes to Buddhism, while the other 70% goes elsewhere, would you accept that? And what if I didn't speak up? So if I let it happen, does that mean I approved of it? We invested 100% of our effort, and we only got to eat 3 bites. The other 7 bites were given to people who did nothing at all. Would you accept that? But the important thing is, they didn't tell you because if they did, they wouldn't give it to you, right? Do you understand why they didn't say a word? They didn't let you ask a single question because they were afraid you would find out. What would they ask? The people who were going to ask on January 1st would ask, is Luang Phra Dhammachayo in the temple? This question arose because they already knew for sure that Luang Phra wasn't in the temple. Because what happened wasn't Luang Phra. And why didn't you suspect anything? Because you came too late, right? You don't know Luang Phra Dhammachayo. The people who are criticizing us, you don't know Luang Phra Dhammachayo. You've never met him. The people who accuse us of constantly mentioning Luang Phra like this and that, it's because you have, what do you call it? A weakness? A feeling of inferiority. Of being born and never having had the chance to pay respects to him, never having met him, never having talked to him. And now you're here, claiming to be Luang Phra, saying this and that, ordering this and that, all sorts of things, while everyone else hasn't even met him. Don't you feel resentful? But you don't dare admit, wow, I'm so worthless, I'm not even in his eyes. He hasn't let me see him for 7 to 8 years. But I've devoted so much merit to him, so much good deeds. Is that it? And you use your feelings of inferiority to judge others. Assuming they must be lying because you've never even heard of him, never seen his face, never experienced anything. But you're claiming, oh, the abbot has passed on advice from real experts to do this and that for 8 years, so you couldn't bear it anymore, right? Get a grip. Those are people who came after you, who never had the opportunity to meet the abbot. It's understandable, but just because you've never met him, don't think others don't have the right to think that. And the reason others have that right is because they work for him. You've never met him, so you don't know what it's like to work for him. You don't know him at all. So, end of story. Don't interfere in things you don't know. You should quickly seek out more knowledge and stay on the right side. Also, now that the statute of limitations has expired on the case, haven't you seen what methods they use at the temple? They released that letter via line. Then, let the people at the temple gradually find out, spreading the word that the case is over. This was to gauge their reaction, to see how they would feel if the case against Luang Phra was closed. Should they be happy or sad? Why did they let it end instead of addressing it when the arrest warrant was issued? You should have acted. You should have defended him. You should have told them that Luang Phra did not fall under the scope of their lawsuit. And you need to investigate who that person is, what their involvement is, and why they are trying to cause trouble for Luang Phra. And in this case, excuse me, but the person who filed the lawsuit should be sued back. Those of Luang Phra's followers who know about the case should realize that they have been causing damage to Luang Phra Dhammachayo for 8 years. Filing such a senseless lawsuit and letting him remain restricted and suffer for 8 years, why? Is Luang Phra Dhammachayo not worthy enough for us to stand up and demand justice? Do you expect him to seek justice himself? You know he isn't. He is a monk, an inner monk, a true monk. Therefore, he wouldn't hold anyone accountable. When you are the supreme field of merit, whoever does good to you receives merit, and whoever does bad to you receives sin. Why would you need to coerce or pressure anyone? But what Tawan is here to tell you is that out of compassion. This ignorance has caused your children, who, while you were alive, all accumulated merit with you and were sure to go to disciplinary and the ultimate attainment of Dharma, like a long trainload, to be deceived by 06 after you left. Let me state this clearly here, I'm not accusing anyone, I'm speaking according to the information I've received, and 06 has never denied it. So, if anyone wants to argue on behalf of 06, please ask them first and bring evidence that they said it wasn't true or that Tawan has recorded anything about what 06 did to 01. Go ask them and present the evidence. 06 denies the first, second, and third points. It has to be clear, right? But it's not like you can just let them talk and then bring up these issues. They don't argue or say anything, and they just keep going. But you know what? They still get their money from what they do to those who have to make them money. So why would they be running around and getting upset about this? What is Kyongtawan going to talk about? When he sees that the temple people don't believe Kyongtawan and believe the temple more, he doesn't see the need to do anything, right? He just smiles because the money is still coming in. So you have to think for yourselves. The fact that O2 hasn't closed the case for O1 since October 2023 means that the project O6 proposed that year would have brought a lot of things to the temple. And who was it that prevented them from helping the abbot back then? Because if the abbot had been released, he wouldn't have allowed everything to happen. Because if it were truly a good thing, like some people are saying now, oh, 30,000 temples, 40,000 temples, everything is good, this is good for Buddhism, well, that's the thing. But if you knew what I know, you only get one bite of the 3 rice grains for Buddhism. The other 2 go to Islam. And you say, you don't believe it, so go find the truth. But the truth is, it's like this. Why are you arguing with us when we know the truth, but you just don't believe it? We've told you already. If you want to continue doing it, that's your business. But you can't accuse those who say otherwise because it's just information we're sharing. I'm not criticizing anyone, just letting you know. If you know this and still want to do it, you're a charitable person. You want to donate 3 baht, and then keep 1 baht for yourself, meaning you get merit for 1 baht, and give the other 2 baht to Muslims. When it comes to major projects at Wat Phra Dhammachayo, 100% of the donations come from Buddhists, but only 30% of the funds support Buddhists. The remaining 70% goes to others who don't have to do anything. Are you satisfied with that? And that's what's been happening since 2023. When O2 brought O6 to the temple committee meeting, Teacher Jude clearly stated that it was on January 16, 2023, if I remember correctly, because I recall Teacher Jude posting on her page that on January 18, 2023, O6 was seen at the inner area gate, making announcements for passers-by to hear. The passers-by were mostly monks and lay people from the inner area. The announcement implied that O6 was going to negotiate and propose a project to O1. A project to bring 100,000 people to the temple each month. This information comes from Teacher Jude's page. But those of us who follow Mankan Somchai already know that O1 hasn't been at the temple since February 2, 2019. So, who did O6 talk to? There was no conversation. But O6 advertised that he talked to O1, and wow, O6 came back with a huge project in 2023. So, if Teacher Jude can post this on the page, it's a verified fact. But Teacher Jude will only be wrong about O1 because she can't verify if O1 is even in the temple. She can only rely on what she's heard from monks who were close to O1. And if those monks who were close to O1 were to tell the truth, they would be in big trouble. They would have to choose whether to stay in the temple and continue lying, or leave before being eliminated. That's the truth. You want to see the world through rose-tinted glasses, but you have to know the whole truth. So, the only question now is, if you knew what we know, that out of 100 baht donated to 40,000 temples, only 30 baht is actually used for Buddhist activities, and the other 70 baht goes into the pockets of people who give it to Islam, if that's true. Would you accept it? If it's true, would you accept it? And if you don't accept it, what should you do? You have to go and ask the temple, right? Is it true? So why do people in the temple avoid being questioned? Because it's the truth. How else are they supposed to answer? And why would they do that? Because they're afraid. They're afraid they won't survive. If they obstruct or refuse, it will be difficult for them to live. Like when Luang Por O1 was around. Even when Luang Por O1 was here, life was difficult because he was constantly persecuted simply because he didn't give in. And now, why don't the people in the temple notice that Luang Por O1 is gone, evading an arrest warrant? Yet his work is going so smoothly? Big projects are going well, projects in the south are safe, He even built a pagoda in Patani, even though it's a place he shouldn't have gone. Excuse me, but regarding that, Luang Phra Dhammachayo once said in school that he would only build the pagoda as far south as Songkhla because it's dangerous beyond that. That's what he said in kindergarten. So, if it's not dangerous beyond that, or everyone is safe, know that it's definitely not from Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01. But who is it? And there's a system. What do you call it? In Chinese, it's called Eng Chu, a system of giving and receiving, to help each other and share resources. So, do you think it's a fair share? 2 to 1, working 100% hard, all by Buddhists. With all the Buddhist money, but only one part benefits personally, while the other 2 parts go to Islam. Go ask at the temple. You can even ask Phra Sanatwang to answer. Go ask. It has to be the abbot who answers. Why don't we specifically mention the abbot here? Because it's an old issue, dating back to the time of Luang Phra 01, 02, and 06. At that time, Abbot Moo wasn't involved at all. So, we understand that Abbot Moo only took over when Luang Phra Dhamma was being persecuted. Therefore, how should he conduct himself to ensure he can continue the work? But now it's time, Abbot Moo. You should know what you need to do the right thing. Because these issues of corruption within the temple have been going on for a long time. And it's news, just like we reported, that on September 23, 2018, someone from the temple, whose leader was named I Phethong, investigated and collected details about this. Regarding the matter of what the team at the police chief, demanded, the indictment of the 7 monks, it's true. Who would have known that because of that, those 7 monks decided to falsely accuse Luang Phra Dhammachayo of embezzling temple donations? They all testified to the authorities that they acted solely on Luang Phra Dhammachayo's orders. Therefore, Luang Phra Dhammachayo is the only one at fault. They then became witnesses. It cost hundreds of millions of baht per person. Let me just say, those 7 monks have lost their monastic status. They're practically ordinary people now. And those 7 people are the ones who falsely accused Luang Phra Dhammachayo, making the civil case complete because the evidence of their wrongdoing is their own. The Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, has caught them all. As for them, they'll get away with it because they're cunning. And it was 06 who suggested that if all the monks said the same thing, that they were just following the orders of Luang Phra Dhammachayo. He advised that if all the monks said they acted on Luang Phra Dhammachayo's orders, they would all be cleared and become witnesses proving their innocence. Because he was following the orders of Luang Phra Dhammachayo. And look, this is true because why? In 2023, around March, someone discovered 31 Bitcoin mining machines in a container at Core 32. And it turned out that the organizers and benefactors exposed this and complained to Luang Phra Tattacheevo, 02, saying that an ecclesiastical trial was needed against the monks responsible for setting up the Bitcoin mining machines. It wasn't the duty of a monk to raise money for the temple like this. But then, in the video that the organizers filmed, the monk secretary of 02 was among those 7 people. He was the one who said not to go to Luang Phra Tattacheevo and also insisted that what they were doing was not wrong, claiming that. He claimed this by raising one arm to the sky, showing one finger, and boldly saying, "I was following the orders of Chairman 01. It's not wrong. That's exactly what he said. But he just claimed it was 01's policy. It's become their guiding principle. If they do anything bad or corrupt, they'll do it, and if caught, they'll just claim they were following Luang Phra Dhammachayo's orders. Therefore, they are not guilty. The fault lies with Luang Phra Dhammachayo. If you want to find fault, find Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01. This is what they really are. And those 7 monks are mentioned in the document that Mr. I sent to the temple, addressed to Abbot Moo, and also to Phra Tattacheevo, requesting an investigation to ensure transparency and purity, as the 7 monks were suspected of wrongdoing. As for why Mr. I was so convinced of who those 7 monks were. Based on the news images, it wasn't us who gave the information. 06 gave it. Because he was the media controller for the temple at that time and controlled the temple's image in every aspect. It was all in his hands. Now, if you knew the background that 06 comes from an Islamic family, confirmed by a respected monk, it means he's following an Islamic plan to dominate Buddhism. Why don't you ask him if it's true? Therefore, everything he's done is becoming clearer and clearer. But he's not afraid. He's just watching to see if the temple people believe him. And he can continue doing it, even doing it right in front of you. Because once you see it for yourself, no one will believe you if you report it. That's 06. So, Kyongtawan is just one person who is a mouthpiece for 01, but she's harmless because she's just a mouthpiece. No one believes her, but the truth is the truth. She still has to speak the truth, and this truth is bringing her blessings. 06 can't do anything to her, but 06 is just watching to see if the damage to his own interests is significant. And he just keeps solving problems. So, if people from the temple fall into his trap and become his servants through the black magic he used, the spells he cast since 2021 via Zoom, you don't know that Zoom belongs to him. He used black magic to bind him to the center of your body, replacing the sacred crystal ball, the images of the revered monks and ancestors. He can do this because he represents the dark side. The side of the devil. If he uses black magic, the magic of the devil, then a black ball will be placed at the center of your body, replacing the white ball. From then on, the merit of the children that was once bright is completely obscured by this infatuation with black. It's his doing. He also uses love spells to make you fall in love with him. Because when you close your eyes, you will see him firmly in the center of your body. You don't have to ask for anything, he's there. This isn't a lie, a deception, or a figment of imagination. Those who know see it for real. Therefore, because they see it for real, they immediately drive him out of the center of your body. But those who don't see it at all, you sit in meditation with your eyes closed, but you don't see anything. That's why you don't know when he started sitting in the center of your body. By now, you'd be sitting there like an old hermit guarding his treasure. That's why you only read a few sentences of our message, and you only grasp one sentence. You get a headache after reading just a few sentences, and you're already saying it's one side or the other, ready to attack everything. You've become their slaves. I'm telling you this before you die, because when your merit runs out, it's not difficult at all. Just commit sinful acts, and you'll lose all your merit immediately. But you haven't died yet because you haven't committed any sins like killing anyone, which would have a quick effect. And because you have a good disposition, you wake up early to pray, worship, and meditate, things you learned from the time of Luang Phra Dhammachayo. That's still genuine merit. So, you just threw away all your merit when you went to do the 40,000 temple project in April last year. You just did that. You threw away all your merit, and you received a great sin in return. If someone is unlucky enough for their past sins to manifest, they die. They just don't tell you why they died. Why aren't you surprised? Many people died a few days after that event. Why don't you ask why, even with such great merit, they could die? If it were in Luang Phra's time, he could answer that immediately. Right now, he's not answering himself. It's only Kyongtawan who's bringing his answer. It's because you've run out of merit. When you run out of merit, you die. But you gain new merit from your meditation, spreading loving kindness, chanting, and listening to sermons before bed. If it's the virtuous qualities you learned from Luang Phra himself, they still remain. Whenever you do something new, new merit arises. The merit associated with Luang Phra Dhammachayo is immense. Just seeing his face, thinking of him before you die, will prevent you from going to hell. This is only if you are not overcome by delusion. Especially delusion about Luang Phra 01. The delusion of believing that the temple says Luang Phra 01 is in the temple, or the delusion that makes you think he is in the temple, is pure delusion. When you have this delusion, you think of him, but you don't truly reach him because you are completely covered by the dark delusion of the Mara. Thinking of Luang Phra 01 is truly virtuous. But the delusion that you believe he is in the temple leads you to be controlled by the delusion that is a tool of the Mara. It's like being in a dark cave. Even if you think or shout out for 01, you won't be heard or seen because your merit has vanished, leaving only the dark light of sin. Even if new merit arises, if delusion still dominates your heart, it's like having a flashlight in your hand. You can see the path ahead, but you don't come out of the cave because you don't know you're walking in a cave. And this is the explanation about Teacher Jude. Why, after she died, did she get lost in darkness, unable to see anything? Even though Luang Phra 01 went to see her and was there to help her before she died, Teacher Jude couldn't see him because her mind was completely obscured by delusion. Her memories were swirling, and she kept thinking, I want to go to Luang Phra 01's temple, to his kuti, monk's dwelling. She believed that before she died, Luang Phra 01 even took Kiangtawan's subtle body with him, to see together what it's really like when the subtle body of a deceased person is overwhelmed by delusion. Kiangtawan dreamt that she went to a room that resembled a monk's kuti in a temple. She was in the room with 01, who was in a very bright Dhammachayo state. Then she saw a woman open the sliding door and come in. It was Teacher Jude. Teacher Jude's subtle body entered the room and looked around, craning her neck here and there. Luang Phra 01 was standing right in front of her, but she couldn't see him. Even with the bright Dhammachayo light, she couldn't see him. In fact, she didn't see anything at all. It was just her mind thinking about 01's kuti that led her there. But her spirit was dark because delusion blinded her. Kiangtawan saw that Teacher Jude came in, but her body seemed to be covered from head to toe with a thin black cloth. Her body appeared like a black and white image, leaning towards dark tones, even though the walls and doors were normal colors, gray or dark brown door frames, tea-colored sliding doors. Cream white walls, yet still appeared bright as seen in Kiangtawan's dream body, because it was morning. However, the subtle body of Teacher Jude, who rushed in, was covered entirely in a thin black cloth. We saw that the cloth was thin, but to her, it obscured her vision. She fumbled around and peered. The subtle body of 01, illuminated by the Dharma body as bright as midday sun, she couldn't see. Our subtle body, illuminated by ordinary light, she couldn't see either. Subtle bodies are similar, but a subtle body free from delusion sees merit and possesses merit, thus naturally illuminating. And 01 had taught in kindergarten that the subtle body of someone with less merit cannot see the subtle body of someone with more merit. Someone who didn't know much before would simply know that Teacher Jude had been a spiritual practitioner for a long time and had much merit. How could that be? This is the answer. Because Teacher Jude believed the spiritual practitioner close to 01, who explained things in a way that 01, who was in the temple, was giving instructions and refining the spiritual practices in this way and that way. Therefore, the monk probably didn't realize that lying to the laypeople would have such terrible consequences. He thought, it's no big deal. Let the laypeople think that I'm still in the temple, so they can still come and make merit. Otherwise, they won't come to make merit, and they won't gain any more merit. The monk probably only thought that. But the truth is, once the laypeople believed that Luang Phra 01 was still in the temple, They immediately became servants of Mara, the evil one, because their delusion became their tool. Besides causing darkness, they couldn't see anything during meditation because the center of the body, the seventh chakra, had no merit left, having allowed the sinful illusion, which is delusion, to reside in the center of the body instead. That's all. Therefore, in the case of Teacher Jude or the monks in the temple who died, if they were in the delusion of working for Luang Por 01 who was in the temple and giving orders, they would all suffer the same fate, even if 01 stood in front of them to help them gain merit. They wouldn't accept it because they couldn't see. Their eyes were blinded by the black cloth covering them. And the only way to overcome delusion is through one's own wisdom and understanding. Therefore, one must escape from delusion before their lifespan ends or before the karmic consequences of their sins come to cut them off. There's a group claiming to have received detailed but inaccurate information, arguing that they asked a monk with detailed spiritual insight, but not from the main temple, to help Teacher Jude. They said that after making merit, the monk claimed to have helped and placed her in the third heaven, Yama. A truly knowledgeable person, however, received this information from 01 and passed it on to Kyongtawan. Even if the monk had used the merit to transport Teacher Jude's subtle body to the third heaven, Yama, and claimed to have helped, upon further examination, she would no longer be there because her mind is still attached to delusion. She would return to the monk at his temple because her mind goes there, remembers only that place, and cannot see anything else. This means the monk wasted his merit. He didn't help her. Even if he sent her to heaven, she would still return. Don't say you've helped her, because it's a lie. It misleads those who make merit into believing that Teacher Jude is always in Yama. This is another form of delusion. It's like gaining merit by helping, but it becomes a sin because it leads those who believe it into being consumed by delusion. Kyongtawan has warned and explained this to them. That friend still didn't believe me and was even upset, accusing me of overstepping my boundaries by criticizing her teacher, whom she believes has attained such profound dharma that he helped Teacher Jude ascend to the third heaven, Yama. She even said she wouldn't listen to anyone except Luang Por 01, the first monk. If it concerned the profound dharma of her teacher, she would only listen to 01. She would only believe if 01 told her. I thought, if she weren't so stubborn, she would realize that if I said it myself, I couldn't say it because I don't have that level of profound dharma. If I told her, it would definitely be Luang Por 01 who told her. I'm not refined enough to see it for myself, so criticizing a monk with such profound dharma would be sinful. But instead, she wanted to believe that and stopped talking to me altogether. This is the result of falling into the delusion of the devil. Once caught in the devil's trap, it's the most difficult to escape. To get out of delusion, one must use wisdom and discernment to understand the truth. If one can discern correctly and accurately, one can escape delusion. But if one is stubborn, one will not listen to any reason at all. And those at the temple who have just heard me this far should be happy now. Your merit is still very great, which is why you have endured listening to us until now and learned this truth before dying from delusion. But I am sorry for those who could not bear to listen to us this far. This is the truth. No matter how subtle and powerful the Dhammachayo of Luang Por the first of may be, it cannot help people escape delusion. Even if it is purified in the center of the body, if a person's perception, memory, thought, and knowledge are not correct before death, the subtle body that separates from the physical body will retain that memory. Wherever it goes to help, it will remember and return to the same place until its karma is exhausted. And when that karma is exhausted depends on whether, before death, that person only received this delusion for themselves, or how much they spread the delusion to others. For Teacher Jude, this was a very difficult matter. She frequently shared this belief on her live show, which had over 3,000 listeners. Those who listened and believed her also became consumed by that delusion. If they hadn't listened to Kyungtawan's explanations in the videos or read the posts on Kyungtawan's page, they wouldn't have escaped this delusion. It's as if this karmic cycle is repeating itself, continuously affecting Teacher Jude. There's no way to help her, no matter how much merit she accumulates. It all disappears. There's truly nothing that can help her. You don't know that the day Teacher Jude passed away was the reason why 01 cried so much. That's why we knew the day Teacher Jude died before her body was found, because it was the day 01 tried to help but couldn't, as her heart was darkened by delusion. Now, consider how many of 01's followers are like Teacher Jude, causing 01 such profound sorrow every time. That's why Kyungtawan has taken on this responsibility to share the truth. To find a way for everyone to listen to the reasons, to use their brains, and gradually receive the light of wisdom to penetrate the darkness of delusion, until they can escape it through the truth. I've been saying this for years, and I hope this time it will help all of 01's followers escape this delusion. Unless that person has no karmic connection with us at all, or is so stubborn and proud that they refuse to accept us, they won't read or listen to us. They won't be able to escape their delusion due to their own pride. In that case, we probably can't help them. In short, let me share a story about Teacher Jude as an example. All the merit accumulated throughout a lifetime disappears when one engages in sinful acts. Everyone is like that. When you're about to commit sinful acts, you have to abandon your merit because you're going to commit sin, not use merit. Consider this. The merit accumulated throughout a lifetime is incredibly difficult to obtain, yet it's easily discarded when you blindly wander into a sinful event that's deceptive, claiming it's meritorious but only to solicit donations. It's like the root of a tree, sprouting from a seed of darkness. Just because it sprouted in the field of light, the benevolent side, means it will bear white fruit. It's not. A tree planted from a dark seed may look like a tree of merit, but it's still the root of sin. Eating the fruit of that tree means ingesting darkness. That heart will accept darkness and naturally discard the white. Letting go of all that's left is the sin clinging to you. It's all gone. There's no merit left to go to any heavenly realm, not even enough to be reborn as a human. You'll remain a slave to the dark side, never to be reborn. It will only be possible for 01 to help you in a lifetime where the forces of evil have already triumphed. How many more of 01's children will suffer like this? If you don't want your loved ones to unknowingly descend into the dark abyss, share this story. Let the words in this video bring light to gradually shed the dark delusion that envelops their hearts. When you believe us that 01 isn't really in a temple, you will be freed from the delusion of the dark side. And if at that moment you think of 01, 01 will be able to help you. And you will see them because your mind will no longer be shrouded in the black cloth of delusion. It's like the case of Luang Phi Kitty. Don't say we're exaggerating, this is the truth. Luang Phi Kitty is the most knowledgeable about 01's teachings. He constantly reviews and accumulates merit. But isn't it surprising that on the day of the accident, everyone in the van was talking only about merit? It was late February 2025, the time of the ordination of 5,000 monks on World Earth Day, and the first ever offering of alms to 40,000 temples. The conversations and reflections on Dharma during the journey were normal for them. If the offering to 40,000 temples was truly a great merit, there wouldn't have been an accident. Karmic consequences wouldn't have been able to cut short their lives. And if they weren't deluded, if they remembered Luang Phra Dhammachayo, he would surely have come to help. If thinking of him would lead to his presence, why wouldn't he be able to reach him? because their minds were bound by the dark sins they committed before the actual act. They were skilled in the principle of having a clear mind before acting. While acting, and after acting, they should think of merit and feel joy. Merit arises before the act, right? Think about it. If the 40,000 temple offering was truly meritorious, the monks would surely think of the merit before acting and talk about it with joy. The whole bus would be talking about merit, wouldn't it? But if everyone in the bus was talking about the offering to 40,000 temples with joy at having made an offering to Phra Dhammachayo, and it became a reflection on sinful acts before the actual act, what would happen? That's the answer to why accidents and deaths occur. But in Phra Kitami's case, he was fortunate that when he set up the Zoom system and opened the Zoom rooms in 2021, he personally oversaw 2 large rooms. He had previously contacted Tawan via messenger. Tawan told him that there was a signal from 01, through a true expert, saying that the Zoom system wasn't 01's but 06's, and that they were using black magic. Someone in the teachings wasn't the real 01. He didn't believe it, he couldn't reason with it, he couldn't imagine how that could be true. So he chose to trust himself and firmly stated, "Don't think too much, just trust Luang Por, the abbot." This was a very dangerous way to cut the conversation short, because it meant refusing to let go of the delusion from our messages that encouraged further thought. He said we were thinking too much, that no one could harm Luang Por. We told him that everyone is unaware that they are being possessed by the devil through delusion, because they believe someone is 01, when in reality they aren't. He simply cut the conversation short by saying, "Because you don't trust Luang Por, that's why you're thinking so much." And then he said, "Let's just say, I trust Luang Por Dhammachayo. That's all. No need to worry. This is the defeat of someone who can't crack the code of reason and whose reasoning doesn't work." And he decided not to accept it, to avoid the headache and to let go of the thought so he wouldn't have a headache. But during the first nationwide fundraising event for 30,000 temples to contribute to the Kathina ceremony, Tawan received a signal from a true expert saying that the real 01 was blind and couldn't see anything. When his children went for training at World Peace and collectively offered the merit from 30,000 temples to Luang Por 01, what he received was nothing but black sin. This caused him to see only the darkness of sin sent to the center of his body. Therefore, he had to refuse the black merit from his children. And 01 didn't have the great, bright merit he had seen in the detailed blueprints of the Demon King. He could resolve everything because he was very bright from the merit of his disciples. But that time, when he thought of his disciples, he only saw a dark black sphere in his center. So he asked us to inform everyone that the 30,000 baht Kathina donation for temples was not merit, but sin. Don't do it. But no one believed us. Phra Kitty wrote to ask us what was going on. We explained it to him. He was silent for a while, then he answered the same way. No one can do anything to Luang Por 01. We said, that's true, but everyone is doomed because they abandoned merit for sin, not knowing that it wasn't the true will of 01. The temple people were deceived into believing it was done by 01, so they abandoned all their merit and received the full force of sin. Phra Kitty hesitated, but wrote that he was thinking too much and had a headache. He asked not to think about it and only to have faith in Luang Por. We wondered if this was pointless. It turned out that on the day of his accident, a true expert told us that 01 helped him. Just before he breathed his last, Phra Kitty had a sudden realization. He followed the principles 01 taught him, and that's when he became suspicious. He wasn't careless at all. While in the car, he was only talking about great merit, wondering why this could happen. Then he suddenly realized, maybe what we said was true. He realized this at that moment, emerging from his delusion. His mind became enlightened because he remembered our conversation about Luang Por 01 and the black karmic debt he received from the 30,000 temple project. He reached 01, and 01 arrived in time to help, though not to save his life. 01 only helped his subtle body, brightening it immediately. He needed to replenish his merit and virtue, enough to survive. I'm not sure if his merit was enough to go to Dusapuri, but it seems 01 had him meditate to review his merit, and then 01 replenished it, allowing him to return because his own merit was sufficient. Just emerging from delusion, reviewing his merit, and meeting 01 through the Dhammachayo was enough to save him. He was lucky to remember his conversation with Kiantawan, and 01 was able to help him. Therefore, this is another case confirming that what Kiantawan has been telling and saying all along comes from the real 01, absolutely genuine, not just boasting. Even if he had never spoken with Kiantawan or heard from us before, and said he never heard Luang Por say anything like this, he still listened, and it became ingrained in his heart. 01 was able to replenish his merit and help him. If you haven't listened to him, it won't stay in your heart. You won't question it when something happens, and you'll immediately fall into darkness. Even if 01 finds your subtle body, it can't help you like it could help Teacher Jude. So, going back to what we said, if anyone is a disciple of his, or even just has seen his face through the media or whatever, if they aren't caught in the dark delusion surrounding him like everyone at the temple is, if before they die they think of 01. If they see 01's face, they can still receive the merit of 01 to help them find the light. It's that profound. It's a delicate matter. But few people know or can actually put it into practice by thinking about it. Therefore, there are many things that are true knowledge, life lessons. But those who came later didn't get to hear them from him. And aren't you surprised that the Dream School program that Luang Por hosted every night for 14 years has disappeared? Only a fragment remains that truly belonged to Luang Por. You can't even see it. They destroyed it all. Who could destroy it, if it wasn't within the temple? Who could destroy it if they didn't have the power to govern the temple? And the person who destroyed it must not repent of their sin. They are not a Buddhist. And if you're not a Buddhist, how can you manage anything in the temple? You'd have to be disguised. So, it's all settled now. It's definitely 06. Go tell him, go ask him, go condemn him, and see if he'll try to justify himself. See how he'll show his heroic side. I want to see his performance, not him hiding behind the scenes all the time, having others protect him by sweet-talking his followers, using charms and spells to make them constantly defend him. Oh, he's so good, so pure, so noble. Those who support, promote, and protect him are the ones who will incur sin with him. No one escapes punishment. Therefore, come out to the truth, everyone. If you don't want to believe what Kiantawan says, go seek the truth through methods that are accepted by the world. Don't take one side and then claim the other side is wrong. If you don't know either side, you should be fair to yourself. Do it the right way. Is it true that 70% goes to the purple higher powers? Anyone brave enough to ask her, please go ask. Why does she dare tell people that she owns Wat Phra Dhammachayo? This news is being talked about openly, without any attempt to hide it. People are talking about it around Paragon or something like that. Go and see for yourself. They've been talking about it since 2021. You can ask her yourself. Have her speak out publicly and confirm that it's true, that she owns Wat Phra Dhammachayo today. That way, everyone will have a correct understanding and won't be deceived. And she won't be committing a sin by saying she didn't lie or hide anything. Speak up. If it's for the betterment of society and everyone agrees, then it's okay. Everyone won't have to violate the fourth precept, adultery or lie. And regarding the 70% donation, it will be voluntary. She won't have to violate the second precept either. Those coordinating the various matters will be free from violating both the fourth and second precepts. Everything will be transparent. Do it the right way. Whether it's voluntary or not is up to each individual. We're not encouraging it, and we're not forbidding anyone. But don't anyone try to mislead people into believing you're protecting Phra Dhammachayo, 01. You're not protecting 01 at all. You're not safeguarding 01's rights. You don't even acknowledge 01's true identity. You even let 01's case expire, allowing the whole city to condemn him. And when the temple heard the news, the public relations officer, Mr. Sanatwang, said, "Oh, we have to observe the situation first, maintain a reserved stance." Oh my God, is this what the temple truly believes in Phra 01? And the people who definitely don't want Phra 01 to come out are those with vested interests and those who have slandered him. All 7 of them. Look at the media reports from September 23, 2018. Those 7 monks are all correct. There are 6 of them, plus 02. Investigate yourselves. How could they not be them? Or why are they correct? And if these 7 monks are still around, don't expect to ever see Phra Dhammachayo, 01, whether in person at the temple or not. You definitely won't see him. So don't let anyone fool you into thinking the case is over. 01 will definitely come to the temple and make a show. No way. 01 will definitely not meet anyone because there are still civil cases to come. Okay, update. I saw the news after the news about Phra Dhammachayo, 01's criminal case expiring. I came across news that suddenly the 100-year-old Grandmother Chan building will be auctioned off for 1.4 billion baht, and that the Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, seized it. Can they really seize it when it's temple property? But nothing is as shocking as the message from someone within the temple, which we know from the inside, that she is connected to a Muslim driver for one of the monks in the temple. And that monk is the main culprit involved in forging Phra Dhammachayo, 01's sermons. And then they released the news for her to post on Facebook immediately, something like, as soon as she found out that the DSI was going to seize 1.4 billion baht, which is the globe-shaped building of Wat Phra Dhammachayo, she wrote that the case is over, prepare 1.4 billion baht to buy the property that's being auctioned off. Buy it, don't forget. And then make a big, smiling face. What does that mean? I heard that the sponsors were told that the Globe building would be seized. If the people of Wat Phra Dhammachayo want Phra 01 to be pleased, they have to prepare money to buy it back. Well, it's surprising. I don't remember what year this news was, maybe 2023? Then it went quiet, and I'm still confused about how they could seize it. But here, I can't help but lament, is that really how they think in the temple? People who use this building don't have to pay money because the people who pay for its construction are the benefactors. But when the time comes, it's like the temple is preparing to give it to them. And then they tell the sponsors to prepare money to buy it back. Even though there is no law that can seize state property, buildings that were intentionally built for the temple from the beginning are considered state property. No one can seize them. They take advantage of the ignorance of the people in the temple and then use their power to oppress them like this. But it's like oppressing them in a deceptive way. And then they hint that if the sponsors don't want to lose this building, they have to prepare money to buy it back. If you want to please the abbot, prepare the money to buy it back. It's only 1,400 million baht. Where else would you find a building owner who donated to the temple have to pay to buy back their own building? When did they lose their rights to this building? What crime did they commit? Whose fault is it? And did the monks in the temple not take care of the property? Did they let it be seized so easily without any explanation? Is it true that everyone will let anyone claim rights and say that this building must be given to them, even though they haven't committed any crime? The temple owner who donated the building and used the money to build it is not at fault at all. Why does the temple owner, who is the builder, have to lose their own property just because they entrusted it to the monks to take care of? And what did the monks do wrong? Has it been clearly stated what the monks did wrong? What did the building owner do wrong? What did the foundation owner who is taking care of the globe building do wrong? What crime did they commit? Shouldn't there be an explanation first? Not just seizing the building out of nowhere. And the temple people are preparing to sell the idea that the donors should pay to buy back the building in the words, "If you really love the abbot, 01, right?" Are you preparing to say this? Are you still going to sell the image of Phra Dhammachayo, using the love of those who love him to lure them into paying for your mistakes? Or is it not compensation for mistakes, but compensation for your insatiable greed? This is really hard to accept. And what's even harder is another news report saying that they inspected the 91 land deeds for the plots of land where the globe-shaped building is located, and said that many of the plots were illegal, or something like that. The origin was unclear. Then, when the monks or temple officials went to defend themselves, they were told it was invalid. And not just any court, all 3 courts ruled it invalid. So they had to decide to seize the land. Wow, how could it be that easy? It was too easy. But then they say that they did find illegal land here and there, but it wasn't the entire area where the globe-shaped building was built. They chose certain plots, saying, okay, since it's illegal in certain areas, in this province and that province, it's difficult to seize those. So, they just seized this building. That's easy enough, right? And then they're going to auction it off to use the money to repay the cooperative. My question is, what crime did the owner, the person who built this building, and the monks at the temple commit against the cooperative? What debts did they incur with the cooperative? Why should the money be used to repay them when they have nothing to do with what Phra Dhammachayo? And importantly, the land with the various title deeds, on which this century-old building is constructed, was originally a thatched roof building from the very beginning of Wat Phra Dhammachayo's construction. It didn't just suddenly become this large plot of land. It took a long time to gather all the land to form this big area. It's been many years, more than 40 years. And suddenly you're going to ask about the origin of the land deed that was used to build this building. And once you get the answer, you're not satisfied and you just rely on the power of the court, saying that it was past all 3 floors at once. Oh my, isn't that too obvious? You want this building so much that you have to do that? And if you don't get the building, you have to get the money, right? That's why you have to find a way to get 1,400 million from the temple. As if you already know that the people of the temple will definitely not let go of this globe building. They will definitely raise funds because they love Luang Pha, 01, very much. You're going to use the matter of loving Luang Pha to take money from the donors to compensate for something that the donors didn't do wrong at all? And this property belongs to the nation. It belongs to the Buddhist religion, it belongs to the Buddha. I ask you, if you sell this globe building and give the money back to the cooperative members, will any cooperative member dare to accept this money? Excuse me, all the cooperative members, if you knew about this, would you dare to accept this money? And the person who did this doesn't know about sin and merit at all. And do you really dare to do it? Since the fault is not ours. It doesn't belong to the building owner. Excuse me, but the person speaking has already donated hundreds of thousands of baht. Why would they suddenly lose this building to someone just to repay the cooperative, which is in distress due to its own misconduct? And what does the cooperative's mistakes have to do with Wat Phra Dhammachayo? What does it have to do with the globe-shaped building? You can't just claim that some plots of land have unclear origins. That's why they didn't pass the approval. Oh, so you just want this building, is that it? Even though this building wasn't built here before. The history of this land, where Wat Phra Dhammachayo is built, dates back over 40 years. Who's going to find evidence of that? And your claims of dissatisfaction, that you feel it's unbelievable that an agreement could be reached. What do you gain? What do you get that makes you have to sell this building for 1.4 billion baht? Excuse me, are you really giving it to the cooperative members? Or did you have a plan all along? Thinking that the Buddhist cooperative members wouldn't dare accept this money knowing it belongs to the temple, to the monks? Where will the money go when you've seized it? Is there some malicious intent behind this? Is this some kind of malicious intent? And is it appropriate to embezzle the donations from devotees who came to build this building for Buddhist activities that aim to reach the world? We need to think about this carefully. I suspect that the people who conceived and carried out this act are 6 to 7 individuals who pointed fingers at Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01, and said he ordered the embezzlement. Why do we call them people? Because the embezzlement is real, there are witnesses. There are people who know. Don't think we don't know. You're just talking amongst yourselves. There are people who definitely saw and knew that you agreed to testify that Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01, was the one who ordered you to embezzle. That's how you became witnesses. Pointing fingers at the person who gave the order, making those who followed the order innocent. And you've been living happily for 7 to 8 years. Letting Luang Phra Dhammachayo bear the blame for your wrongdoing without any shame. It's shocking, especially since you are monks. They are monks who have been ordained for a long time. And they are the main structural monks of Wat Phra Dhammachayo. It is said that if all 7 of them were together, they could build a new temple. But you all agreed to point out that Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01, ordered you to cheat and made 01 a guilty party, and made 01 flee from the arrest warrant. And you said that you would wait for the statute of limitations for 01's criminal case to expire before you would discuss it. You are still indifferent, saying that you have to wait and see what the outside world will say. You monks, you didn't want Luang Phra, 01, to come out at all. You didn't want 01 to come out at all. But if the people outside knew that, well, it was actually because of you that 01 had to leave the temple and couldn't come back, because if 01 came back and if 01 was arrested, you would all be the ones who would get a huge sin. 01 was very merciful, 01 went to avoid being arrested. The 7 monks wouldn't have to get a heavy sin. But the monks have no remorse. They have no remorse. So, anyone who wants to know who those 7 monks are, the ones who testified to the authorities that they were corrupt. With all the evidence that the Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, has collected, it was all done on the orders of Phra Dhammachayo, 01. So it became, following the orders of the chairman 01, and that's not wrong. And then you did all sorts of evil things, ready to say, it was the policy of Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01, because Luang Phra 01 wasn't in the temple. So you could put up anything you wanted, right? Because you were sure they couldn't arrest Luang Phra 01. And you would get away with it. But you did evil with such enjoyment. That's not being monks anymore. The question is, the abbot didn't know anything at all. He didn't know anything about what happened to Luang Phra Dhammachayo, 01. But this confirms that Luang Phra Dhammachayo, even though he escaped criminal charges now, in an undignified way, is because 02 didn't close the case for 01. That's why 01 couldn't appear in court to hear the civil case. It turns out that failing to appear in court is considered a breach of a court order, allowing for immediate arrest and conviction. This means it's a wicked plan by 06, a truly evil plan by 06. The temple people thought that Luang Phra 01 would finally be released after being acquitted of the criminal charges, but I'm sorry to say, you don't know why 01 left Wat Phra Dhammachayo. 01 left because of these 7 monks who pointed fingers at 01, accusing him of ordering the fraud. These 7 monks became witnesses. pointing fingers at Phra Dhammachayo, 01 as the one who ordered the fraud. The evidence of your fraud is that you've all cheated, and they've already caught you. You just said you were following Abbot 01's orders, so they had to arrest Abbot 01 instead. That practically didn't give 01 a chance to explain anything. And the court hearing wasn't even scheduled. You're dragging out the criminal case until the statute of limitations expires because you want to seize everything by citing Abbot 01's absence and avoiding a civil court appearance, thus allowing for asset seizure. This is part of 06's plan to take over the temple. But who they're giving it to is an agreement they made amongst themselves. Go ask 06. He's the main character. You have to ask him. How long will you continue to disbelieve those people around the temple? Because, according to the Manager Online news article from September 23, 2018, the news about what Phra Dhammachayo is still there. I can mention their names here too. It's also on Thailand's Facebook page. Because it's reliable information that 06 leaked the news himself. But all 6 plus 1, that's 7 people who caused Phra Dhammachayo, 01 to leave Wat Phra Dhammachayo. Because they fabricated charges against 01. And when they were preparing to arrest 01, 01 saw in a clairvoyance that they were preparing to evict people from the temple and seize it. That was since February 2019. That's why 01 decided to leave the temple. And as long as these 7 monks committed crimes and were the ones who framed Phra 01, they are still living comfortably and happily in Wat Phra Dhammachayo in every position, every single one of them, actually. Because they have all violated the precepts. They have lost all their monastic status, yet they are still able to stay, prosper, and even carry out big projects claiming to be under Phra 01's name. Please read the information yourself. It's all there. Therefore, the claim that they are going to sell the globe-shaped building is based on a dream that Thailand previously recounted. And the person who will sell it is J.E. Who is Sh? Go look at the details. That was in the dream. I'm not saying anything bad, I'm just telling you this. Whether it's true or not, you have to ask the person involved. I want them to deny it. And another dream I haven't told you about yet. If there's a change of ownership here, I can guess that the buyer will be of a different religion. Because it's linked to the heartfelt agreement of 06. He needs money to repay his debts, and he got it from Islam. You have to ask him about this, because he borrowed it to play the stock market. And it's a huge amount. He might have to sell the globe-shaped building to repay it, or get the money from people at the temple. He might claim it's to repay the cooperative. But remember the 700 million baht he took for the construction of the Tattacheevo pagoda in 2014? That's what caused Phra Dhammachayo, 01 to expel 06 from the temple and prevent him from returning, expelling Phra Maha Somchai. This is true. At that time, he took 700 million baht from the Tattacheevo pagoda construction. He told the finance department that he would withdraw this money to repay the donors who helped the cooperative when Phra 01 suggested helping him because he didn't have money to pay dividends. Then, they helped with the amount that Mr. Somchai donated to Phra, according to the news, around 700 to 800 million baht, or I don't know the exact amount, but it was approximately that figure. There was a discussion about using the temple's central fund to repay the donors who helped the cooperative, according to Phra 01's wishes. Out of compassion, not because it was a debt or because they had taken something from someone else and had to return it. It's not unrelated at all. It was Phra 01's compassion. But then, when 06 went to withdraw the money because they saw that Phra 01 was raising funds to build a pagoda for Phra Tattacheevo, 02. 06 went to withdraw the money and told the finance department that it would be used to repay the donors who helped the cooperative according to Phra 01's wishes. But in reality, They didn't repay it. So, is this the same old trick? The same trick. Selling the globe-shaped building for 1.4 billion baht. They'll use any excuse to get 1.4 billion baht to pay off the Islamic debt. And if the temple people don't buy the building back, it will belong to the Islamic people. But there's one dream that Kyongtawan hasn't told you about yet. I had a dream before the news of the globe-shaped building being sold. I dreamt that the building would be bombed, and it would be destroyed because they believed it belonged to Islam. What does that mean? It means the building would change hands to Islam. Buddhists wouldn't dare buy it because they fear sin, as it's religious property. Therefore, it's all part of 06's plan to take over the building and make Wat Phra Dhammachayo belong to Islam. So, whatever benefits they've agreed upon, the final result is that the building, all structures, and everything belonging to Wat Phra Dhammachayo will become Islamic property. Whether they tell us or not is up to them. If they don't tell us, they already have 70% ownership, so they don't have to tell us. If the temple members continue to be deceived and refuse to wake up, they'll continue to be used. But if the temple members refuse, one day they'll simply seize the temple, find a legal reason, and claim it's an auction. But they've already agreed on this beforehand, like when 06 borrowed money from them. That it doesn't have to be repaid. But I'm talking about Wat Phra Dhammachayo. This is like a legend, like a story, but if one day it becomes true, you can't blame me. Because it's not something I made up. It's something a real expert, 01, told me. 01 is Phra Dhammachayo. 01 isn't at Wat Phra Dhammachayo. 01 went there on February 2, 2019. Because they were going to seize the temple and evict 2,000 to 3,000 people, those who are my followers, those who respect me, who have entrusted their lives to me. They were going to be driven out of the temple, and they wouldn't have a place to live or eat. Luang Por 01 didn't want it to happen, so 01 agreed to go. He went willingly so that 06 and Phra To could continue to care for the temple. But 01 still thought that when given the chance to tell the truth to everyone, everyone would be aware and do the right thing. But who would have thought that at least 6 to 7 years would pass? 01 expected the day he would have the opportunity to be acquitted of the criminal charges would be October 2023, because 01 trusted 02, Phra Tattacheevo, to close the case as promised. But when the time came, 02 didn't do it. This resulted in 01, or Phra Dhammachayo, not being able to be free from the criminal charges. And even when there were civil cases, 01 could still fight in court. They would just let the statute of limitations expire, and then claim that 01 failed to appear in court multiple times, leading to a loss. After losing the case, they would have to pay fines. But you see, the news didn't release any details. They just suddenly said that he lost in court, that it had been decided in 3 courts. Isn't that too quick? Doesn't it seem like he was acting on someone's orders? And it's making everyone confused. Are the people at the temple awake yet? Are you awake? And if you're awake, what can you do? You said you would help Luang Por 01. Excuse me, but anyone who forms a group and says they will find a way to help Luang Por 01, using fancy language like building a protective wall to help 01 return to the temple or get him out of there, whatever people believe, ultimately, it's a lie. Because if you claim that Luang Por 01 needs help, you're misunderstanding and you're misleading people. It's another kind of delusion. The temple has a delusion that Luang Por 01 is still in the temple, and you're making people believe that Luang Por 01 needs you to be a protective wall to help him return to the temple. That's not right. It's not true, because Luang Por 01 won't return. Because if these 7 monks are still alive and well like this, and the people at the temple aren't alert, don't know, don't accept, and don't believe in this, then it's over. 01 won't come back.